Tim, it's Monday. It's the aftermath of Super Bowl 55. How are you?
I got to bed at a decent hour and had some wings that didn't hurt the system too much. I don't need to tell you.
I'm not a wings guy. You would think I'd like the wings. I'm not a big wings person, but that's another episode of Commercial Break.
Well, I think wings. The 1.4 billion wings that apparently America consumed yesterday. Who's counting that? I don't know. I don't know how we got that number. I think there's more discussion about wings than wings really become a big part of the afternoon. But anyway, yeah, it's apple pie.
Yeah, it's funny you mention apple pie because that's going to play into this conversation.
Ooh,
so what I noticed today was it's the 50th anniversary of the Nasdaq. Now, as Fast Money fans know, until middle of March,
love the Nasdaq.
We do our show from the Nasdaq market site in New York City's Times Square every night, 5 o'clock, about 43rd and Broadway for those of you playing at home. But I thought it was interesting. So it got me thinking of 50 years ago, what was the Super Bowl, Tim Seymour, in 1971? Super Bowl V. Obviously,
Super Bowl 71. So it's not the Packers, but you want to go there because they were a little bit earlier. It's not Lenny Dawson's Chiefs.
No, it's not. Look at you, nice pull, Lenny Dawson.
It's not Joe Namath's Jets.
It's not Joe Namath's Jets.
It's Johnny Unitas's Colts.
Great poll by you. It is the Colts of John Unitas, and they played the Cowboys of Dallas.
But whose quarterback was not Roger Staubach, though, I don't think.
Throw something at me.
I think it was a Craig Morton, maybe.
Or maybe
no, Fran Tarkenton.
Or no, Fran never played for the Cowboys, drafted by the Giants. Played for the Vikings. No, maybe it was a dandy Don Meredith even.
Ooh,
how's that?
Twin D, double D. Yeah.
But the final score was 16-13. The Colts won on a last-second field goal. Now, Tim, for extra credit, what makes this Super Bowl different from every other Super Bowl,
right,
is what? Tough trick question here.
Well, it wasn't NFC, NFC for the first time because we'd done that, or the AFL, I should say. What made this Super Bowl?
I won't make you struggle. No, this is a hard one. The MVP of this game was from the losing team. Chuck Howley, a linebacker from the Cowboys, won the MVP of that game. I think he had 2 picks or so. And a lot of people, you're probably one of them, thought the MVP of the Giants-Bills Super Bowl should have been Thurman Thomas. So that's an entirely different conversation. But quickly,
I think you can ask me who kicked the field goal for the Colts. And
I think his name was Jim O'Brien, actually.
Jim O'Brien. Like that? Okay. I wanted to, just because I wanted to say the name, I wanted to say Jan Stenerud.
See, now Jan Stenerud would have been played for the Chiefs. I love what you're doing here. This is tremendous stuff.
Thank you.
Now for extra credit. Now, last night, the halftime show was this Mr. Weekend person who I'm sure was fantastic. It's not my thing.
Not my thing either, boy. I mean, everybody was not working for the weekend yesterday, as far as I'm concerned. And I would have rather have seen Loverboy, to be honest with you. And Loverboy is maybe one of the things we'd like to forget most about the 80s. But for what it's worth, anyway. All right.
But so I bring that up because there was a halftime show of Super Bowl V. You have any wild guess?
So 71. Well, I mean, look, if we're trying to understand what was happening, a la, if the weekend is in now, in 71, it was probably the Third Dimension or something like Billy Davis and Marilyn McCoo and Billy Davis Jr.
That's a wonderful poll.
How am I doing?
You're close, but so here's the halftime show.
All right.
Southeast Missouri State College Marching Golden Eagles Band with, and this is where the apple pie comes in. It's more orange juice. Anita Bryant was the
Anita Bryant.
See the way I tie a little bow on that whole thing? Isn't that tremendous?
Well, Anita, Anita obviously became, very, very tied to the OJ trade. And I don't mean Orenthal James. And I do mean the trade around Florida and juice. So how do I bring this back to the Nasdaq?
To markets. Well, I'll tell you, hey, bring it back. So
Thank you.
If Tom Brady was an original member of the Nasdaq, right? I mean, Tom Brady founded the Nasdaq going up against Mahomes. Who is the Nasdaq's Patrick Mahomes, in your opinion, Tim?
Oh, I see what you did here. So Brady is to Microsoft as Mahomes is to gotta be Tesla.
Gotta be Tesla.
Gotta be Tesla, or maybe Nvidia. Maybe
like what you did
Nvidia.
there.
Yeah,
I like what you did. I think Tesla is the sexy one. I mean, can do no wrong. Obviously, every hurdle that's been put in front of both Tesla and Patrick Mahomes, they've been able to get over somewhat easily.
Yeah, and I think, again, back to, you know, the Nasdaq. Look, a lot of hype around it then. And what's interesting now is that the Nasdaq has grown with innovation, and, you know, the company, as much as the exchange is really been on the leading edge of advanced technologies and things that I think we probably know a bit about, because again, we've been around the Nasdaq for a long time, and so it's fascinating. And to think about where the NFL, and can we refer to the Super Bowl now?
I think you can. I think ex post facto you can mention it. Yeah, I think so.
Super Bowl it's gone from being, you know, a big sporting event to a day in the culture of America. And if you think about where we are in terms of Nasdaq, again, you went from companies that were this whole, you know, this thing called the internet. And this whole thing, I'm not sure I even understood the difference between hardware and software at this point. 50 years ago, I bet I didn't. You know what? I bet I didn't, and that's fair to me, right? I mean, I don't think it would have been fair to have asked a 4-year-old Tim Seymour, you know, difference between hardware and software. Although I bet a 4-year-old today could probably tell you, which is crazy to think about that. But to think about the change in football, which has been more dramatic, the change in pro football, the game of 50 years ago, which wasn't like American gladiators suiting up, you know, in the octagon that it is today, or versus the Nasdaq 50 years ago and the Nasdaq today. I mean, think about that, man. Where you know.
Now, so what's interesting about that, as much as the Nasdaq has changed from 1971 today, and as much as the NFL has changed from 1971 today, in actuality, not a lot has changed. It's the same game, football, right? You still got to run the ball, catch the ball, and tackle people. And it's blocking, the same thing with the
blocking and tackling.
It's you know, as much as you can add all the lights and all the production elements, but effectively it's the same thing. Only the names have changed, which is a great line from a song, as you know. So,
and the names have changed to protect the innocent, of course, as we go back in time. So, so in the context of today's society, there's an argument that the Nasdaq hasn't changed that much, right? It just, technology has moved to different spheres, and really there's not enough dimensions in a geometry class to really get out there on the different spheres of where we are with technology today. But again, it's not about, of course, the internet, and it's really more about the concept of data and you know, AI. And anyway, so what I think is if we play this game in another 50 years, football will probably be a lot more like hockey.
Look at you. Look at you.
And the Rangers play the Devils tonight, Islanders tonight, which, you know, I think is a real test to see. Is it Islanders or Devils, actually?
The Rangers play the Islanders tonight. If the Rangers were to win tonight after an 0-4-1 start, they would actually be in a playoff position, which tells you everything you need to know about the state of the National Hockey League, Tim Seymour.
Okay, and so we talked about change, and to head on out, and for the audience of Commercial Break, you know we love to do this. Songs or just key lyrics from rock and roll songs that involve the word change.
Well, it's obviously the first that comes to mind is the great David Bowie's Changes. I mean, so go back to you.
Guy, don't go changing to try to please me. See you tomorrow.
See you later.